The royal jelly secreted by a xenomorph queen has sparked the creation of countless xenomorph queens and praetorians. This precious elixir is not your ordinary honey-like goo found in terrestrial hives. No. This potent brew, infused with a special strain of the infamous black goo, holds the power to shape the genetic destiny of the xenomorphs and determine their place in the hive. Its pheromones trigger a frenzy in the loyal subjects of the origin hive, while causing the opposing hives to clash in epic battles for its possession, which was also seen in the comic Aliens Colonial Marines, when two genetically different factions of xenomorphs fought in a civil war on Xenomorph Prime, their home planet. Protected by the fiercest of xenomorph warriors, the substance can transform and mutate humans to give them orgasms that last forever, or to leave them completely demented and rageful. In this video, we will dive deep into the depths of this precious substance and study its effects on humans. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What exactly is royal jelly? Royal jelly, also referred to as bug juice by some, was the very substance that leads to the creation of a xenomorph queen and other castes of xenomorphs such as praetorians. The substance works in a fashion similar to the royal jelly found in the hives of terrestrial bees and other such eusocial organisms. In the case of bees, one larva is chosen to become the queen, but how can just another bee larva get sculpted into a queen? Well, this little guy is fed with the royal jelly, a white snot that is half water and half protein. When I say fed, I mean that the larva is quite literally put into a sea of the royal jelly. According to epigenetics, identical genetic material can produce radically different creatures. Likewise, in the case of the humble bee, a diligent worker bee and a regal queen bee differ not in their genes, but in which genes are given the royal treatment for activation. For you see, genes are the blueprint that dictate the proteins responsible for constructing our corporal forms. And yet the environment in which we develop can leave a mark on our very DNA, altering the expression of our genes. Such is the case for the xenomorphs, whose very nourishment can shape their genetic destiny and determine their fate in the xenomorph hive hierarchy. The preferred mode of birthing a xenomorph queen is through a royal facehugger, which hatches from a royal ovomorph before attaching itself to a host. However, on the off chance that such a royal facehugger fails to find a suitable host, the royal jelly comes into this picture. It is highly potent and has the ability to transform even drones into xenomorph queens. But since praetorians cannot be birthed through the usual mode of xenomorph reproduction, they are created exclusively through molting and evolving through the royal jelly, which is fed to the drones. That is why a runner xenomorph molts into a crusher. But how did the royal jelly become so powerful and effective? Well, it was revealed in Alien RPG that the royal jelly contains a specialized strain of Agent AO3959X 91-15, or the black goo, and that it induces an accelerated metamorphosis. Now, if you've watched our videos on Xenomorph Mysteries or the origin of Elden, you'd know that black goo has immensely powerful in transforming and mutating life. And if the royal jelly contains a strain of the black goo, it's gotta work wonders. Furthermore, this majestic substance is a highly specific pheromone cocktail that triggers all sorts of positive reactions in the loyal subjects of its origin hive. However, if you're Xeno from another hive carrying the scent of a different royal jelly, things will not seem good for you. For just like the fierce defenders of a castle, xenomorphs are highly attuned to the scent of royal jelly, and anything not of their hive that comes in contact with it is instantly deemed an enemy. Let's be honest, humans aren't exactly on the xenomorphs' Christmas card list to begin with, so coming across an opposing hive's royal jelly is about as welcome as a facehugger at a dinner party. So potent are the pheromones in this regal goo that even a fully restrained xenomorph in Aliens, Music of the Spears could not contain its fury upon detecting it, unleashing a violent onslaught against any hapless junkies in the vicinity. One can only imagine the sort of epic battles that must ensue when hives clash over this treasured substance. But wait, didn't you stop to think what a bunch of junkies were doing with royal jelly? Well, in a few story arcs, humans started consuming the substance, and as would be expected, the results were worse than a royal mess. So let's explore what happens when one of us consumes it. What happens when humans use royal jelly? In the world of Dark Horse comics, humans have been known to go to extreme lengths to get their hands on this gooey gold, experimenting on fearsome creatures to extract its potent essence. And why, you ask? Well, let's just say that the benefits of this wondrous drug are not to be underestimated. As detailed in Alien's Genocide, royal jelly can grant humans superhero-like abilities thanks to the Queen's ability to amplify the natural gifts of her xenomorph subjects. If that's not enough, the substance can also be used for a plethora of other purposes, making it a truly versatile substance indeed. The comics introduced something called the Xenosip, the street drug of choice for those looking to take their performance to the next level. But here's the catch. While humans have managed to synthesize royal jelly to a certain extent, its effects are notoriously unpredictable without a tiny amount of the real deal, straight from the Queen Mother. Why? Well, because some of the compounds present in natural royal jelly are just too darn complex to replicate in a lab, making the stuff a hot commodity on the black market. And if that weren't enough, even the United States Colonial Marine Corps had taken an interest in this precious substance for their own purposes. It's no wonder that Xenosip became the stuff of legends among thrill seekers and adrenaline junkies alike. Effects of royal jelly, the Bugmen. Royal jelly has been known to have a profound impact on humans who are exposed to it for prolonged periods. The effects of royal jelly on humans can be highly disfiguring and can result in significant mutations. One example of these mutations can be seen in the case of the Bugmen from the comic Aliens Colonial Marines. The cult consisted of hybrids between humans and aliens, and these guys are heavily mutated under constant exposure to the jelly in its purest form. This exposure caused their skin tone to shift towards a pink or purple grayish hue, and many of them lost their hair in the process, with very little remaining. Additionally, their heads had become oversized with enlarged ear holes and tendrils hanging from behind. The exposure to royal jelly had also given the Bugmen some influence over xenomorphs, and they could communicate with them to a limited extent. This ability had allowed them to assist xenomorphs in expanding their infestation and partake in irregular skirmishes with other human-inhabited facilities. The Bugmen also had a disturbing practice of kidnapping survivors and turning them into their kind. Effects of Xenosip. This powerful substance can turn an ordinary human into a superhuman, with incredible speed, agility, and strength that could even match that of a Yautja. And let's not forget the complete rage and primal instincts and enhanced reflexes that would come along for the ride. If you thought all the action would bring you pain, what pain? You'll be feeling close to nothing once this stuff kicks in. Having said that, Xenosip is highly addictive, and the artificial ingredients that are used to replace the royal jelly can cause some serious mental instability. Additionally, to some people, it gave some an intense feeling of well-being. Others experienced levels of their own being not normally perceived, and yet others had an orgasm that seemed to go on forever. But what was the reason behind such different effects on different consumers? Well, Xenosip is a drug of a varying level of effectiveness that is dependent on the individual and the dose taken. While some people may experience minor enhancements in performance after consuming a standard dose, others may exhibit extreme behavior and continue to operate even after sustaining life-threatening injuries such as the loss of a limb or gunshot wounds. These individuals can become frenzied and may ultimately succumb to their injuries. The potency of Xenosip increases significantly with higher doses. One Olympic runner consumed a double dose of the drug, which allowed him to sprint at speeds of over 40 miles per hour. However, the drug's impact was so intense that it wiped out all higher reasoning in the runner, causing them to continue running past the track's end and crash through a brick wall, ultimately resulting in their death. One of the most dangerous side effects of Xenosip is that it attracts extreme aggression from any xenomorphs the user may encounter. I already mentioned that this happens because the Xenosip's pheromones shout out loud that they are from a different hive. The xenomorphs don't even consider subduing the individual for facehugger implantation, and instead attack immediately with savage brutality, even continuing to attack the corpse after they have died. Marvelous verdict. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the xenomorphs and their world, the royal jelly remains a captivating enigma. Its role in shaping the xenomorphs and triggering fierce battles for its possession showcases its influence and importance in the xenomorphs world. Its unique properties, from its specialized strain of black goo to its potent pheromones, only add to its allure, leaving us to wonder what other secrets it may hold. Now that Marvel has taken over the franchise, I would be more than glad if they explore the properties of royal royal jelly, and other mysteries about xenomorphs. Speaking of which, have you checked out our video on top 9 xenomorph mysteries? Well, I'll leave a link in the description. And if you like our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.